Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of imposter syndrome, what it is and how to kick it to the curb. Today's quote is from Denis Waitley. It's not what you are that holds you back, it's what you think you are not. What do you think of that, eh? Wow, I love it. What is holding you back? What you think you are not. What you think you're not. It's so simple. You don't think you're good enough or smart enough or connected enough or valuable enough. Bam, there is imposter syndrome. But you so are. Let's stop you from holding yourself back any longer. Let's go. We're back with part 2 of Kick Imposter Syndrome to the Curb. Last episode, you'll remember we talked about what imposter syndrome is and how it can show up for us. How it does show up for us. And how it shows up for 82% of other people too. What a crazy statistic that is. I think I'd love to be in the 18%. I'm clearly not. We also talked about adjusting your inner monologue, focusing on the value you bring to your clients and their businesses, and knowing your stuff. This week, I want to go a little deeper into it. Talk about what you can do. We talked about creating content in the last episode and how your brain seeing the valuable content on a daily basis is a good thing, a positive thing. Your valuable content, of course. Sometimes we get stuck in the scroll, right? And we read other people's words, we see their images, we think their videos, and we think, I can't create that kind of stuff. We don't even think that we should be creating our own stuff. We're not making that connection. But we talked about saying positive things out loud, right? And that's what this tip is about, is talk about what you can do. Talk with people every single day. I always encourage you to have real conversations with business owners every day, not to sell them something that they don't want or need, but to actually make those connections. When you talk about what you do, what you can do, what happens? Well, for one thing, you get better at talking about it. I remember going to a business breakfast meeting every week for a couple of years and practicing my elevator pitch in the car on the way there. It was a 10-minute, 12-minute drive away, but I would record it on my phone and then I would play it back to here to see if it sounded okay. And I would re-record it if it didn't. It often didn't. And I remember recording, my phone sticks on one of those things on the dash, and I would hit the record button. I would say my 1-minute infomercial or elevator pitch, and then I would play it back and listen to it another minute, and I would halfway through go, nope, and I would do it again. You may know that I hate elevator pitches, and that may be one of the reasons that I do, but they really are good for forcing you to talk out loud. Remember I said last episode that sometimes I sit in silence and I have many conversations with myself in my head, but it's really, really good for your brain to hear the words that you want it to hear out loud. And so elevator pitches can be really good for that. At the least of which, you're going to have practice. You're going to be saying the words, learning not to trip over them, right? And being able to articulate what it is you want to say. What I want you to do is talk to real people, have real conversations, ask them questions about what they need help with in their business. You don't need to pitch anybody. You can have conversations that feel a lot more natural, that are a lot more interesting for sure, and that you don't mind reaching out to have when you look at them in a different way. And you want to be able to tell them how you can help them if you can. You don't need to fit the round peg into the square hole or the vice versa. If you can help them, then you tell them how. Talking about what you can do builds up that positivity and that value muscle that you need to keep imposter syndrome at bay. Helps the brain, but it definitely helps that attitude. If you hear yourself saying, I can help you with that, That's exactly how I help my clients. That's the serotonin that you need to stay positive, and it really doesn't take a lot of effort. The more conversations you have, the more clients you're going to get. I tell you this all the time. It is just a matter of numbers. Find your people, talk to them, and get clients. And I absolutely assure you that imposter syndrome does not stand a chance when you're not struggling to find clients. And just a final note on this, I see it in the VA groups too. When someone asks a question, do you feel like you don't have the experience or the knowledge to answer their question? You probably do. Maybe that's a challenge that you can set for yourself this week. Speak up in those groups. Start practicing having those conversations with your colleagues where it's not the same type of relationship as your clients. It really does help those positive brain thoughts. Share your feelings. Okay, we're not getting back into the woohoo here, I promise. Not really, anyway. But one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself and your business is to not try to go it alone. Get help from someone that you trust, maybe lots of someones, not just one. An accountability partner is one of the best things you can have to walk through new processes, talk through issues, celebrate stuff. Getting somebody else's perspective that you trust and that really understands your VA business, especially when you're struggling, can be very, very helpful. And in terms of imposter syndrome, it just doesn't even let you go there. If you're having a tough time, jump on the phone with that person and talk it through. You're going to soon realize that others have many of the same problems as you, VAs or otherwise, and that definitely helps you realize that not everyone is way better off than you, which sometimes is our perception. And again, on the flip side, can you be that person for someone or for many people? Maybe you join the virtual circle like I always tell you to do. You will learn in a supportive group like that that you really have very valuable contributions that can help other people. You sometimes don't realize it until you put yourself into that group or that situation. Just how much input you actually have that can help someone else. Putting yourself into that situation regularly where you can give and get that kind of advice, it automatically helps you shed that imposter syndrome because you get the support you need and you also give back. I absolutely highly recommend getting some kind of support in your business. Learn to like yourself. This one might be a little harder to do, especially if you're having a tough time. You might beat yourself up like many of us do. But if you do learn to like yourself, then you're going to want to help yourself. We tend to help people we like, don't we? I use this following exercise all the time when my VAs are struggling to figure things out in their business. I tell them, do it for someone else. Pretend you're doing that research for someone else. Pretend you're trying to find a solution for a client or a friend. How would you talk to that other person if they were going through what you're going through right now? Or if they were hearing what you're saying to yourself? What would you say to that person? You certainly wouldn't talk to them the way that we often talk to ourselves. You have to be able to trust yourself to be in business. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be confident in your abilities and your expertise. And yes, you do have to like yourself. You certainly have to be polite to yourself. And I know that if I told you to do that exercise for someone else, you would pull out all the stops without hesitation. You would say, oh, yes, I can do that. And you would totally jump into action. If I said to you, do that exercise for me, you'd say, got it, can do it. But trying to do the same thing for ourselves sometimes isn't quite as easy. It should be. And you should treat yourself the same way. That's why having that support network is so important. You're not alone in having trouble with this particular one, but it is a really big thing if you are trying to kick imposter syndrome. Learn to like yourself. Realize no one is perfect. Boy, don't we all look at other people and think they have it all together? Social media can be such a bad thing in that regard because everyone only posts the good stuff on it, and that's the stuff we see every day. Most people never post the negative things that we all go through. Yes, we all go through. No one is perfect, and you don't have to be either. We think we're an imposter because we measure ourselves against someone else or against many other people. But measuring properly isn't even possible when you don't have all the facts. You aren't comparing apples to apples. Recognizing that everyone has their own stuff too is a great start to helping you simply not be so hard on yourself. In my research for this podcast topic, yes, I do research for all my topics, I saw some detailed kinds of imposters, like types of imposters. I'm not going to detail them in here for you because, well, it's not my content, but also I want to get you out of yours, not help you identify with it further. So there you go. But there are many different types, and just know that no one is perfect. Everybody is fighting some kind of a battle, big or small, even if they don't show it on social media. You want to stick to your own issues and figure out how to work through them so that you're done with them. But don't aim for perfectionism. It can be exhausting. It can keep you stuck. And nobody ever really expects you to be perfect anyway. Celebrate your successes. You guys always laugh when I tell you to start a success journal. It seems silly to write down things that went well today, which is generally the way I tell you to start the journal. I get it. It seems trivial. But then how do we remind ourselves of all of the good things that we do every day, especially when we're having a bad day or even just a bad hour? You have a bad call with a client, or if you bomb a sales conversation. We need a boost. We need a little lift. And if we don't have a person to help us do that, like our accountability partner or a mastermind group or colleagues or whatever, how do we do that? We need a reminder. And without somebody always sitting beside us, we have to find places for those. And a success journal is a really good tool to help remind you of all the good that you're doing every single day, no matter how small. What should you put into your success journal? Well, you can write the things that your clients say. Use their words. Sometimes they're great, their words. Things that helped someone else be better or do better today or this week. Things that you finally did right, maybe after a lot of practice or maybe after a little bit of practice. And things that you always do right. Things that you're proud of that you can share with others. Anything that you consider a success. Some are going to be big and some will be small, but it's all about you and how you helped other people. Clients or not, if you don't have a lot of clients to start out with, how did you help a family member? How did you help someone at the grocery store? How did you help anybody? You just need to give yourself the tools you need to keep top of mind about how great you are. And don't forget to own your accomplishments. If you've won an award, if you've been invited to speak somewhere, or if somebody just asked you for advice about something or gave you a compliment, you can always write those as well. All of those things are successes. And again, writing them down puts them concretely into your brain. Your brain needs those 5 pieces per negative thought. So you need a lot of positive around you all the time. Articulate your strengths. If your client or your partner asked you to make a list of things that they were amazing at, you would sharpen your pencil and get right to work on that list. It'd probably come very easily to you, just like I mentioned earlier. I tell the story often of a client of mine, a virtual assistant that I was helping get started, who was working with me on her marketing message. She was struggling to talk about herself and how amazing she was at the services that she offered. So I flipped the conversation and asked her instead to tell me why someone should work with her husband, who was a tradesman with a business of his own. That was easy. She could easily tell me exactly why clients should hire him. She rhymed off all kinds of things that were amazing about him. And then I told her that she could actually do the same thing for herself, and she needed to for this particular exercise. Or she could have her husband do it for her or help her with it. You know your own strengths. You're just inside your own head. And you need to write them down so that you can share them with others. If you aren't sure what your strengths are, I know you know, but if you aren't sure, then do get someone to help you with that list. When we're struggling with our self-esteem or self-confidence, sometimes we need help to see our value. It's there and other people are noticing it. So ask someone to help you. I bet you'll actually be pleasantly surprised at what they say. Maybe ask them anyway, even if you can do that exercise yourself. So that's it. That's like 10 things maybe that can help you kick your imposter syndrome to the curb. Get rid of it. I want to circle quickly back to today's quote. Yesterday's quote was awesome too. Or last week, sorry. It's not what you are that holds you back. It's what you think you are not. We have proven with every tip in this 2-part podcast that you are in total control of moving yourself and your business forward. You can change the way you think easily, I think. It's not what you are. It's not what you are. You are a smart, capable, skilled, educated, experienced professional. It's what you think you are not. And you are smart, capable, skilled, educated, and experienced, and a professional. I actually feel like I'm reciting the line from that movie, The Help. You is smart, you is kind, you is important. You is. But no, really, though, you are. You deserve success. You deserve happiness. You deserve the recognition of others. So go get after it. I want you to know that I can help you do this stuff in your business. That's literally the reason I'm here, to help you become a ridiculously good VA. This is what I help VAs do. As a VA coach and trainer, I help you create success, teaching you how to fix what isn't going right in your VA business. When we work together, either privately or in a group, we talk specifically about your business and you. Every service business is unique. Your VA business is unique. I will help you clearly understand what your biggest issues are and help you walk through the strategy and plan to fix them. I've helped hundreds of VAs through challenges just like yours and got them on their way to growing their business and the lifestyle that they dream of, that you dream of. And I would love to do the same thing with you. You can work with me privately, or you can join the Virtual Circle, my mastermind group for virtual assistants. Check it out at yourvamentor.com/TVC, as in the virtual circle. I bet it's exactly what you need to start running the VA business you dream of. Reach out to me if you're interested or if you have questions. That's all I've got for you this week. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.